today's video, I want to share a story time with you guys. 11 years ago, in late October, I was a pedestrian involved in a car accident. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Deidre and I am visually impaired. And I was filming on this channel up until last year. And I do understand that I don't have a ton of subscribers on this channel, but I want this video to hopefully reach someone who can find some insight from it or experience from it. This vlog will be in different parts. I don't know how many parts this vlog will be in because it's going to be very long. But I am going to film it in different parts. So stay tuned for all of that. But I wanted to come back to filming. Originally this channel was supposed to be about my husband and I and our long distance relationship, and our travel and our vacations and just our lives, just navigating the way we navigate our lives through the circumstances that we have. And unfortunately last year life took a turn and I just didn't want to film. I just didn't want to do this. I will definitely talk about that moving forward. I will definitely share that with you guys. But life took a turn for me and it wasn't a great turn. But experiences and things happen and just, yeah, it's life. But in today's video, I want to share a story time with you guys. 11 years ago, in late October, I was a pedestrian involved in a car accident. I was hit by a car in a crosswalk. I've never really spoken on social media about this story. I tried to actually share it on TikTok. I'm fairly new to TikTok, and I tried to share it for awareness, and it got flagged for violating community guidelines. And a girlfriend of mine said, well, why don't you share it on your YouTube channel? And obviously it's going to be at length. So here I am sharing it with you guys. If I get emotional, I'm really sorry. I do hope that you guys will stick around and give me a chance. I hope that you guys like this video, and yeah, let's just get into it. So, in late October in 2011, I wasn't working at the time because I'm visually impaired, like I said, and I have I have a condition called retinopathy prematurity, or it's called ROP for the short version, and which means your retinas come detached and sometimes you need surgeries. Well, in 2010, right after we purchased our first home, I actually had a retina detachment and had to have surgery. And so I unfortunately had to quit my job, and the healing process for that surgery was months. So I wasn't able to go back to work. And of course, just looking for work and looking for jobs is difficult sometimes. With my situation, I am unable to drive, so finding something that's within a distance that won't break the bank, so to speak, was something that I was trying to do. So during this time, I was not working. So what happened that day was it was a cloudy day. It was very cloudy, and it was calm. It was a very calm day. It was kind of warm. It was probably in the mid 70s. I lived in Texas at the time, so it was in the mid-70s. It was a nice day for the end of October. A little humid, and it was around mid-afternoon. My husband had a nighttime schedule with his company at the time, so he was not home when this happened. So I usually would text someone, my best friend Brianna, or just someone to say, hey, look, I'm going for a run, just so someone would be aware. Back then, you didn't take your phone with you, or at least I didn't. That's when iPods were still a big deal. I had it's a little pink one that you just clip to your shirt. That's what I took with me. And I would have my keys and my watch. And I'm mentioning this because this is significant to the story. So all I remember about that day is locking my front door. And the way that I would go running, I would take the same route every single day. So I locked my front door, and I went down my driveway, and I would turn left. And I would kind of slow jog to the end of the street, just get warm up. And the street that I would run to, I lived on a street called Nathan Drive. And so I would turn left on Nathan Drive onto the street called Dell Lane. And I would run down Dell Lane. I don't remember any of this. I'm just telling you what I did every day. The only things I remember from that day are locking my door, and then the next thing I remember after the accident was running around this little yellow car that the people that had the house owned multiple cars, and the driveways faced the street. So I ran around the car to get back up on the sidewalk because the neighborhood was a fairly new and developing neighborhood, so it had sidewalks, thankfully. And I don't remember running after that. Like, I do not remember anything after that point. The next thing I remember is waking up on the ground, sitting up and saying, I don't know if I actually said this, but in my head I said this, where's my shoe? My shoe is gone. My glasses are gone. Sorry if I get emotional. And I remember a man, well, I didn't remember, but I heard a man saying, ma'am, you need to lay down. I kind of vaguely remember that. That's something I still, to this day, my memory is just really foggy. He said, ma'am, I need you to lay down. And in my head, I said, why? I don't know if I actually said why. But I found my shoe, I put my shoe on, and I said why, and then I went unconscious again. When the accident happened, I don't have any memory of the actual impact. I have no memory of the car actually impacting me or hitting me. I have no point of contact between me and the car. I do not have any memory of that. When I was coherent or awake or whatever you want to call it at this time, I thought that I was having a dream. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like I was in my bed asleep having a dream. You know when you're dreaming, and so that's what it felt like to me. It didn't hit me. I had no comprehension of actually what was happening around me at the time of the accident. I don't know. I will say I don't know what happened to cause the accident. I carry a lot of guilt. To this day, because of it. I will forever feel like it was my fault because of my visual impairment. So yeah, I will carry that guilt for the rest of my life probably. So the witness, I did get to meet him. I don't know the woman. It was a female that hit me with her car. I never met her. She did not render aid, according to the witness. These are not my words. So this is just my experience. I want to be fully transparent. So this is just what I was told by the witness. So I was running. This is what he said happened. I was running south. He was coming north. So we would have crossed paths. And she was coming this way. So she hit me on my right side. And the only reason I know that is because of the, obviously the witness, and just where I could feel it, I guess, if you will, that when the pain set in, I could feel it. Like my hip hurt. My right hip was just an immense amount of pain, as it should be. So what he said was, when he was able to meet me, I met him a couple of weeks after. He said that all he saw was my feet were in the air, and then I fell on my head on the concrete. He said that the woman then got out of her car and told him to call 911, which of course he did. And he said at one point, when he was overhearing the statements, again, these were not my words, to my understanding and from my recollection and from what I remember of being told, that it was my fault. And I'll get more into that. Obviously, it was deemed not my fault, thank goodness, evidence and everything, but I will forever feel like this was my fault. Like I just carried a lot of guilt from this. And so he said that when I was conscious, he said that all I wanted was for someone to hold my hand. I thought I was calm. Again, I thought I was sleeping. I thought I was having a dream. I had no, I didn't know. I had no idea what was happening around me. And that kills me, because just not being able to remember an event, which I'm thankful that I don't have any recollection of it, but it drives me crazy that I can't remember any of it. He said that at one point, some people at 2 separate times stopped. Some people put a jacket under my head to help stop the bleeding. And then another couple of ladies stopped, and they put a cushion under my back that they had in their car for a baseball game. I think he sit on with bleachers to help stabilize me. And those people just got back in their cars and drove off. And God, I hope they see this video, because I'm so thankful for them, for someone to just, because I lost a lot of blood, obviously, but for them to do that and for them to stop and help complete strangers, God bless them. I will forever be grateful for those strangers. But one thing I did get to do is I got to thank. It was so important for me to thank everyone and meet everyone who did help, that I could meet, especially the witness. If it weren't for him, I don't know what would have happened to me. Sorry. Gosh, I keep saying, sorry. I'm trying to get my words out and my thoughts together. So, I don't remember, obviously, any of that. I was in and out of consciousness quite a bit. The next thing I remember is being in the ambulance and the EMT. I remember being cold. Oh my gosh. I remember just freezing. Obviously, when someone loses a lot of blood, they're gonna be cold. So, and I'm already petite. So yeah, I was freezing. I remember telling them I was cold, and I remember them giving me this blue blanket, and it helped some. And I remember them asking me if they needed, like, who they needed to call. They could not get a hold of my husband. I could not verbally give them any other number than his personal cell phone number, and at work he's not allowed to have his personal cell phone number. I did not have his work number memorized. They did go to my house, but obviously the doors were locked. There was no way for them to get in, to get to my phone. And I'm pretty sure I had a lock on my phone at that time. I think that was a thing. And so they weren't able to get a hold of anyone. So yeah, because again, I'm in and out of consciousness. I have a head injury. I'm not able to verbally tell anyone how to get a hold of anyone. So they did ask me at one point. I remember someone standing in front of me outside of the ambulance asking, do you want us to call your birth mother? And I just remembered, I just kind of went like this. I was like, no, don't call her. I unfortunately do not have a relationship with either of my parents. That's something I'll speak on later on. It's just a very sad situation. So I did not want them to call my mother. I don't think she lived in the state of Texas at the time either, so I don't think that would have been really helpful for them. So here I am, I'm in the ambulance going to the hospital, and no one knows what's happened to me. And I still hadn't registered at this point what had happened to me. I had no clue. I mean, it's crazy. You see accidents and people getting C-collars put on them and put on backboards, and that happened to me. And I'm in the back of an ambulance going to the hospital. It's wild. Oh my gosh, it's crazy to me that I can actually verbally say that, and I've actually lived it. So next thing I remember is being at the hospital. Hold on, let me get a Kleenex. Next thing I remember is being at the hospital, still kind of, I was very, very out of it. And, I'm sure that's normal for what just happened to me. I was extremely out of it. I just freeze. The one thing I vividly remember is being cold, so cold. Like I said before that, I could not get warm. I'm sure my blood pressure was really, really low, and just from the amount of blood loss. So the hospital they took me to, I will preface by saying this, and I want to share this. The hospital they took me to, I would not recommend if you're in the Fort Worth and surrounding area. If you were in an accident and you can verbally communicate to whoever is transporting you or taking you, it doesn't matter. If you have a trauma type situation, ask them to take you to JPS. They have a level 4 trauma unit, and it's supreme. It is an incredible trauma unit. I could not verbally communicate where I wanted to go, and unfortunately I did not get the best care at the hospital they took me to. It was horrible. I had to file a formal complaint.